Okay, so she took her story of tragedy and decided to really take a look at where we are in Kenya when it comes to loss, and especially of loss of children, babies. And she decided to give a platform for women to not just heal, but to get a second lease. Please, everybody, welcome the founder of Still a Mom, Wanjiru Kihusa. Beautiful. How are you, sweetheart?
I'm good.
Mwah. You know how good it is to see you.
Good to see you too.
Yay! So if you read her blog, and you're a great blogger, if you read her blog, you'll feel like you know her. Very beautiful story, and the fact that you took something that a lot of people hide from, and you decided to help women. Tell us from the beginning, Wanjiru, your story.
First of all, thanks for having me here. It looks really beautiful.
Thank you, Mama.
So my name is Wanjiru. I worked in IT for quite a while, got married, and so I started to blog about marriage because I felt there wasn't a real space talking about marriage in a Kenyan setup. And so what happens is I then lost a baby in November of 2013. So I shared the story online on the blog just to put my toes out there to see what's the feedback like, are there support groups and things like that. So I got a lot of feedback. I was overwhelmed by a lot of feedback, and then so I started support groups, because what I realized is that 1 in every 4 women or 1 in every 5 women lose children, miscarriages, stillbirth, infant loss, and that was the US and UK statistics. So I figured African numbers are very, very high because our maternal health is not all that. So Still a Mom was actually born from my own personal experience. I left work. And so now Still a Mom is a full-blown organization.
We love it.
Yes.
Thank you for taking that and making something so beautiful. Looking at, of course, some of the research that you did in the beginning, and the fact that there isn't a lot of counseling, help, support groups for women who've suffered miscarriage. Talk to us a little bit about what you found and where you saw Still a Mom being able to plug in some of these holes.
What happened is I noticed even with my own situation. After we lost the baby, we were in a Nairobi hospital for about 3-4 days, and it's actually my gynecologist who sent as a counselor, to the room before we were discharged. I found out that later. I thought it was the hospital that had done that, and I thought that was very impressive. But now when I came and did the research, I actually called a couple of counseling centers. I spoke to Amani, I spoke to a few other guys. I checked even on Facebook. I found a Facebook group, but they were not doing anything offline. So they would encourage, people would write there and see how they're feeling, and they'd get encouragement from other parents who had lost babies. But there was no physical place where there would be a support group, where a trained counselor would work with you and things like that. So that's actually, I found that was a serious need, because what happens is, Kobe, you go home without a baby, and you go to Google, and you're trying to find out, am I the only one who's ever lost a baby? And then, you start wondering, how have I never had the word miscarriage before? So what is this thing? And you go there and you're really, really stranded.
One of the things I can definitely say is that there's been, I guess, a lack of sensitivity and information when it surrounds the issue of miscarriage, because a lot of people don't even understand that this is a death, and the grieving is the same, the feelings are the same. In actual fact, sometimes even worse, because this is a life that you never got to meet. Talk to us a little bit about that sensitivity and why Kenyans really need to realize that it's not the next thing to tell someone who suffered a miscarriage is utapata mwingine, which is what we do, right?
Yeah, we do that a lot. First of all, we are not doing very well on bereavement support, period. Whether somebody has lost a mother or a brother, we go for barriers and we send them pesa, and we feel we're good, I'm all right. So we really need to just up our game generally on how we support people who are bereaved. But number 2, when it comes to child loss, now it comes with a whole new ball game, because this is somebody people didn't see. So they don't really feel that it's legit loss, So you're grieving dreams, plans, you had, some people had done shopping, and then when it comes to even infant loss, that is somebody, find the baby had been met by people, they were probably, because we support even people who've lost like a 7-year-old, a 3-year-old, because that's still child loss. But what I want to say is child loss is actually a loss like any other. These people loved died, period. Whether you saw them, whether they were 8 weeks, because sometimes we also tend to belittle the loss based on how long that person was pregnant, And I always tell people that every loss comes with a different circumstance. So you might meet somebody who has lost a baby who is 8 weeks. But this could be an IVF baby.
Exactly.
They've gone through so much just to be
years,
pregnant.
Actually, years. Yeah.
And the money and the fertility medication and all that. Or they could have lost a baby at 10 weeks, but this is their third loss. So how can you belittle their loss?
Yeah.
So I just want to reiterate that indeed it's a legitimate loss. People are grieving just like a normal death.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you found situations where you've met women or couples who have even gotten into depression because of this, and that try again mentality is also plagued with so much?
Yes.
Yeah.
Depression is real.
Yeah.
Even in Kenya, because we downplay depression a lot,
Yeah.
we think she's just sad, she'll snap out of it. It's not really the case. I meet a lot of people who now are on different levels of depression. Some are all the way over here to committing suicide. You know, they're actually contemplating suicide. And then because each loss comes with its own set of circumstances. You might encounter a woman who did not have any support system. You know, I have met people who the man in their life left. So she is grieving the loss of a baby and the loss of a relationship.
Yeah.
And, or she may have in-laws who think, you must have done something to lose this baby, or because we are out here really busy propagating myths as to why people lose children. So the support system around her, if it's weak, depression is just right there waiting for them. So there are many couples, and then what happens is that two people grieve differently, because a man and a woman, first of all, just by gender, will grieve differently.
Yeah.
Because he might be quiet. It doesn't mean he doesn't love the baby as much as I do. I may want to talk about it every so often. I might feel he has moved on faster. And that brings a lot of conflict in marriages. People actually, by the way, walk away. Yeah, so there's a lot of real depression issues that are there. And that's why we offer counseling, like proper counseling from somebody who is trained, because you have to get that person from here to them realizing that life can be lived again.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You started out with a handful of women, and now you're at 400.
Yes.
Isn't that just an amazing thing? But you know, what that tells me very clearly is that, oh my gosh, there was a huge need for this. There was a huge need for this.
And imagine those 400 that are just a bucket in the water.
Yeah, based on where we are where we are nationally.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about some of the cases that you've met and how you've helped them come out of that grief, or of that dark place, and some of the services that Still a Mom offers.
We meet a very wide range of people. As in, grief is as different as the people who are grieving.
Yeah.
So but then now you encounter circumstances, like I was telling you, that make a certain grief unique.
Yeah.
So you will encounter somebody who came from hospital, went through all 9 years of labor, and delivered a stillbirth.
The 9 months, yeah.
Yeah. And delivered a stillbirth. So for starters, she's going home empty-handed. She went through everything. Some of these people go
clothes,
through even CS.
everything, yeah.
Somebody even has surgery, and then they just go home to heal a wound, and they have nothing to show for it. So you will encounter either, depending on at what point did this person lose the baby. So we'll encounter people who lost the baby during pregnancy. That is early miscarriage, late miscarriage.
Okay.
There's stillbirth, that the baby is lost during birth. Then there's infant loss. So you will find people who went home with their baby, and for one reason or another, there are cases of choking, there's cases of SIDS. It's a very big deal. Sudden infant death syndrome. Yeah? It's a big deal. So there's all that number of women. But then there's also the people who have lost babies, and are they alone?
Yeah.
Do they have support systems? So those are different cases that happen. There are people who are left high and dry. We have, it's so unfortunate by the way, Kobe, you won't believe it. There are people who will come home with their basin, because they've come from the labor ward and they're all alone. And here I need to really call on to men.
Okay.
Like, just show up. It's so sad by the way when you see women in hospital with a basin and somebody's all alone.
Yeah.
It's very depressing. So they come home and they find there's a new wife. Yeah.
Oh Lord.
There's a new wife.
What do you even do in that kind of situation?
And
you're so broken.
Yes, I had someone tell me she slept on her couch in her house.
The day she came from hospital?
Yes. Because it was dark. It was dark already, and she had nowhere else to go.
That's horrible.
It is horrible.
So not only do you not have support, now on this other side, you are being ostracized.
Yes.
Because there's something wrong with you, obviously.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if in the cases now of infant death, it's always seen as neglect.
Yeah.
The truth is, moms have to go back to work. you know, and they don't like it, and we need to appreciate that. Nobody wants to leave their baby at home and go work, but a living needs to be made. Milk needs to be bought, you know, so they will leave, and maybe something will happen when she's away, you know, and then so everybody around her, if they all decide they want to judge her and all the things she didn't do, and how she was not a very good mom, now there's a whole different set of people. So there are people who have support, there are people who don't have support. The people who had lost their babies during pregnancy, there are people who lost their baby after pregnancy. So it's a wide range. There are cases of people who lose babies after rape, and that's a whole new issue.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You can imagine.
Yes.
Like by the time you decide that you're going to actually see this pregnancy through, when you were...
Just when you've made peace with the fact that I'm pregnant.
And then you lose that child. Yeah.
And I've met people even who, like, they were in campus, they got pregnant, you know, it was not rape, but they were really not ready for a baby. And so they sit down and they consider abortion, and then they decide, you know, no, let's keep this baby. And then they lose the baby. And then people around them are surprised that they are hurting.
Yeah.
You know, like if you did originally want the child, why are you grieving?
Right.
Yeah. But the truth is this: the moment you bring your brain around to the fact that we're expecting a baby, your brain just starts to make plans. Yeah. And loss is loss, regardless of the circumstances that came with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You have something really special, which I love about Still a Mom. You guys throw baby showers.
Oh yeah, that's a new thing we do nowadays.
I love that.
What happened, Kobe, is that we discovered, actually what happened is, the first support group we had, the very first one, I didn't even have counselors, I used to run the groups myself. Zero, I don't even know how I did it, zero clue, you know?
Yeah.
So what happened is, that group, I had 2-3 people get pregnant, you know?
Okay.
So we worked with people when they had child loss, they were broken, now they laugh again, and now they feel they're ready to try again, and now they're pregnant.
Yeah.
So we started to feel like, so if we leave them just like that, how have we helped them?
Yeah.
And because I have also lost 2 pregnancies, I know what it feels like to be pregnant again after loss.
Right.
And it's so sensitive, you have so many questions. So what we decided is we decided to be doing something nice for them. So the baby showers are called rainbow baby showers, because a rainbow baby is actually a baby born after a loss.
Yes.
So what happens is we put these moms together, like those due around a certain time. We put together, it's a program Still a Mom has partnered with another organization called Nurturing Moms. Okay. So we bring, Shiro is the doula, and she runs Nurturing Moms, so it's a partnership with her and I. Okay. So we put the baby shower together, the women, we do makeup, we do a nice photo shoot, but then we bring also the doula and a gynecologist.
For great advice.
Yes. Okay. And we spend about 3 hours of the shower is just allowing these women to hear expert advice and to ask questions, because most people lose babies when they are mom. That's the first time you're being a mom, so you didn't know what do you ask. Is it how labor goes? So maybe you feel like you lost your baby because you weren't even be very vigilant. Yeah. So now it's a chance for you to learn how is it supposed to go, where should you ask questions, and when the baby comes here, how do you breastfeed, stuff like that. Okay. So that's what the baby showers are about.
That's amazing.
Yes.
You, of course, have shared your story. It's lovely, right? We love that you've shared your story with us, a very personal story. But the other day, I've known Wanjiru for a while because I first saw your blog and then called you. Yes. And we did that first AM Live interview. But for those who don't know Wanjiru, please log on to our social media platforms on Better Living KE, and we'll get you in touch with her. If you know someone who's going through a loss, someone who suffered a miscarriage or lost a child, please get them the support. It is so, so important. All you have to do is just log on. Wanjiru, so now I'm going through my phone and I'm looking at profile pictures on WhatsApp. I do that, all right? We all do. And I see yours has changed, and it's a beautiful pregnant shot. Yes. You are expecting. Yes. We are so happy for you. Yeah. This is amazing.
It's a miracle, really. Yeah. It is. I believe in miracles. They still happen in the 21st century.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, I wanted to ask you this. Of course, you've been doing this for a number of years now. Even for you, this miracle happening, a little bit of anxiety, I'm sure.
A little. That's nice. Yeah, it's more like a lot of anxiety.
Okay.
I will tell you for a fact that being a rainbow mom is beautiful. Yeah. But you're anxious. There are things that somebody who's lost a baby feels just because they have ever lost a baby. Yeah. You know, that somebody who's pregnant for the very first time or they've never lost a baby before will never feel. For instance, we dread ultrasounds.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because for most of us, that's why we received our bad news.
Okay.
That's why that guy went all, there's no heartbeat over here. You know, that's why you had bad news, and you associate that sonographer or the ultrasound place as a place of bad news.
Yeah.
So going for an ultrasound is not as exciting for a rainbow mom, because I mean your heart is literally here. The moment you hear that heartbeat, you have no idea what a big deal it is for somebody like me, because I have been on the other side where there was no heartbeat. So that's very it gives you a lot of anxiety. Other things that give you anxiety is when any milestone comes around. You know, like if you lost a baby, I lost a baby at 7 weeks, and I've lost a baby at 20 weeks.
Okay.
So those 2 times were a big deal for this pregnancy.
Right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because it kind of feels like, whew, this is that week, you know, or this is that day. And it's a big deal that when you cross that milestone, you feel like you're going to just breathe finally, you know.
Right.
Do you know it's actually a big deal to share that you're pregnant if you've ever lost a baby?
Yeah.
Most people struggle with it because, you know, they've had their heart broken before, and they don't want to tell people early, and then there's all these questions of what if we lose this baby and we told people,
right?
You know, so
yeah.
it's a different and it's a more difficult journey, but it's still beautiful.
Looking at, of course, those who've experienced loss and who would like to try again, just before we go, encourage those women, those couples, even men, who have heard your story, and just give them a little bit of hope that it's not the end. That's your camera, and this is your audience, girl.
First, I want to admit that we struggled a lot after our second loss. We found out we had blocked tubes.
Yeah.
So that kind of just put a damper on everything, because then you realize we have not only lost 2 babies, but we might never get kids ever. And that's a very difficult place to be. So I want to encourage anybody who's ever lost a baby, or they're really, really trying. No, your rainbow is on the way.
Yeah.
You know, it's on the way, and it doesn't matter what shape or size that rainbow comes in, Kobe, because my rainbow is getting pregnant.
Yeah.
For another person is maybe you guys need to talk about adoption, and that's okay. That's also, I mean, it doesn't really matter how we bring the baby home. It doesn't, you know. But I really just want to tell people, don't give up. Don't give up. Sometimes all it requires is for you to just, I know this is cliche, but sometimes when you get to that place where you have made peace with who you are, you know, and then somehow, I don't know whether it's the pressure that reduces, but then it happens for you, So I'd just like to tell people, you know what, it's not the end, and also your womanhood or your manhood is not tied to kids, you know, be secure in who you are. If the kids come, yay. If they don't, and you want other ways, try other alternative ways. You know, I mean, there are people out there who have adopted children, or they have gone a different route and they're happy.
Right.
If you guys are okay with staying the 2 of you, you're also a full family.
Yeah.
You know, a family by the way does not mean mother, father, and children. A family, even a husband and wife, are a complete family unit, and we need to stop people pressuring people. Like, where are the kids? You know, 4 years down the line, asking people over Christmas, make people no longer go shags, because you know those questions will come. You know, let's go easy on people.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that. My director will kill me, but I just have to ask. You need a space.
Sorry?
You need a space.
Yes,
we have to say this, Wanjiru, before you go. So you're looking for a space to hold all these amazing baby showers, these support groups, a counseling center.
Yes.
Okay.
So we are looking for a space, mostly as a counseling center, because we are getting a lot of people who want one-on-one counseling, but also support group, the physical meetings. We are looking to we are trying to get funding, because what we do is non-profit. We don't charge the women that come to us.
Okay.
So we are looking for a space or funding, or whichever way people would like to give to us.
Okay.
Yeah, and we are officially registered legally, and everything. All the paperwork is right.
Yes, you are.
Yes.
I know you're very good at that part.